All right guys, welcome to our showroom. I'm J.W. Davis, and today we're going to Squarebody school. So I wanted to catch a quick video before this truck left. These things have been coming and going very briskly, and it's nothing new. It's caught on obviously to social media, but we've been messing with Squarebodies since Squarebodies were brand new. Both sides of my family, my grandparents drove Squarebodies, my dad drove Squarebodies, my uncles drove Squarebodies, and we all still own Squarebodies. So we figured we'd take you guys to Squarebody school today. And I wanted to catch this one just because it's kind of cool, kind of unique, but it has also gone nuts on the internet. And a lot of people jump on the bandwagon of price and crying and complaining and all that. Why are these Squarebodies bringing so much money? There's two reasons. One, some of them shouldn't be bringing so much money. Some of the stuff we've seen come through here that customers have paid crazy money for and then dropped off to have work done on were not worth what they paid. But what does the price matter if it's something that you really want? But how does these prices come about, and why is this trend so strong? I'll tell you why the trend's so strong. Guys like me owned these when they couldn't afford to even put gas in them, and we bought raggedy ones, and they were hand-me-downs, and we still loved them. We drove them through high school, different things, you know. Everybody has a different story. But, you know, now people are older, they have some money, and they can go out and spend the money that they want on having the thing they had in the past. And they're still great trucks. Our website designer called yesterday, we were talking with him. And he's a 50-some-year-old man. And same deal. He had a Squarebody when he was in school. He had to get rid of it. He couldn't afford it. Well, he bought another one just because, you know, and now he wants to get us to do a bunch of work on it. He's not even a redneck Squarebody kind of guy, but he's like, look, I had one and I want one again. But long and short of it, let's talk about this one. So this truck started off as a M1008 CUCV. There's different names for it on the internet, but this was a 5 1/4 truck. That means it was a 1 ton and a quarter, heavier than a real K30. When this truck was redone, it wasn't redone to be a military government truck. They wanted a nice, clean, classic truck. This truck came from a collector that builds a lot of Squarebodies. We're very fortunate to have a great relationship with him. We do some swapping and trading. So this truck actually was a military green Army truck that probably had a flatbed on it with a generator or something to that effect. I believe they said it was actually a generator truck because it has a PTO transfer case. Very rare, one of the first ones we've ever seen. All right, let's go over some pricing. Let's just say this truck, you want to do the body and paint. You'll real quickly see I'm not the best with handwriting. Then you got to do the interior. Of course, in doing that, you want to add some stereo. Then you want to do lift, tires, wheels. Then you want to obviously do some sort of upgrades. Let's just call that, you know, other items, tint windows, bed liner, whatever you want to do. Now, when they did this truck's a 1986. For those that know that front end, I was going to let it be dropped in the comments, but nobody seems to do that, so I'm going to go ahead and give it away. That's an 81/82 front grille system. Why did he do that? Just because he liked the look of the 81/82 more. He has a big collection of trucks, and he did not have any of those in his collection. One other thing while I'm fresh on my mind, a lot of comments about having front blocks. It does not have front blocks. Those are part of a new Superlift suspension system. They are bolted in. They are part of the spring. Some people will still think that they're blocks. A block would have a pin that would sit in a hole. They do not. It is actually bolted through and is used for lift. I don't know why Superlift adapted to that. Skyjacker may have done it too, I don't know. But that is the way the springs come. That's not a front block. Your state might argue it. I can't help that. But that is out the box the way the suspension lift comes. So I just want to touch on that. This truck is on a 12-inch suspension lift. And it is on 38-inch tires. And it is on an extra wide set of 18 wide super stretched wheels. We would have probably chose 16s. It would have looked a little better with that style tire, but an 18 wide looks nasty on a Bogger or Mickey Thompson, which is what these guys like a lot. All right, so let's go back to some pricing. If you can find one of these trucks here in good shape, we used to buy them for $2, $3, $4 grand. At one time, one of our buddies had so many of these donor truck axles and people were bugging him, he buried them in his yard. True story, as true as it gets. He got tired of people asking, friends wanting to get a set, because we all knew they would be invaluable one day. Dana 60 and 1 ton from the factory, and a corporate 14 bolt in the rear. He had so many of those axles, again, people just were hoarding him for them. He took his excavator, he buried them in his backyard. He has dug them up, he has got rid of them, but that is a true story. Kind of crazy, but that did happen. So let's just say you find one of these trucks that's in good shape. You cannot buy them for $2 to $3 grand any longer. You can't even buy the axles for that any longer. So you're going to pay $7,500 to, let's say, $12,500. Let's just call it 10 and be in the middle. You're going to invest about 10 grand to buy the truck. Raggedy looking, basic. We haven't touched on this one yet. It does have a 6.2 diesel. That's a Detroit diesel. That Detroit diesel was left in this truck. Most of the time, that's the first thing to pull out. When I told my brothers this truck was coming, it was the first thing we talked about. What kind of motor are we going to put in it? But you know what? Long and short of it, you're not going out trying to do burnouts with this truck. You're not trying to, run a mud bog. This thing has just as much power as the weak 305 that it would have had. So between 1981 and 1986, and I could be a little off on these years, 305 was the only option. 350 did not come back until 1987. And it came back in a semi-fuel injection version, throttle body. And it had more power. The 305 was weak. This truck probably has more power and more torque than that 305 did. So you can't really laugh about the Detroit diesel. And the guy that bought this truck is sold. If you haven't caught our other social media yet, it's going to Texas. He's a diesel guy. He's in love with it. He's getting this truck with a diesel. And it's pre-emissions, even better. One other cool point on this truck, keep on going back to this one because we can't do it again. Once this truck leaves, we can't capture it again. This truck even has the factory exhaust still on it from 1986. However many years that is. What is that? 40 years now. Still has the original exhaust on it. Crazy, but it does. All right, so we'll go back to body and paint. As you can see on this truck, the body and paint is phenomenal. Everybody's going to be like, okay, I can get it done cheaper. I got a buddy, I got a friend, whatever. But if you take this truck and drop it off to a body shop, you're looking at 1 year plus of time, and you're looking at about $10,000. Realistically, if you did it to the quality of this truck where the door jambs are done, the dash is done, it was a full color change, you're probably going to spend $15,000. Now again, load the comments up. I know what's going to happen. My buddy can do this, my buddy can do that. Guess what? The guy that has a buddy that can do it or they want to do it at home, they're not working 70 and 80 hours a week like we do and like a lot of people do. So unfortunately, you don't have the time to do that. So you have to spend the money to have somebody do it. My brother just picked up a truck from one of our very good friends that owns a body shop. We have 3 body shops we deal with. One is owned by a close friend of the family. That truck's been there almost 10 years. It's still not done. He finally went and picked it up because he's got to finish it and the shop needed more space. 10 years without his truck. But when it's done, it's going to be cool. But if you got that kind of time to waste. Interior, you're going to spend another $10,000. That's doing the seat, that's doing the carpet, that's doing some Dynamat probably, that's going through the doors, fixing the window switches, fixing the knobs, greasing everything, probably putting window tracks in it, carpet kit, dash pad, whatever you got to do. You're going to spend about 10 grand. Again, if you got a buddy that can do it, awesome. Let your buddy do it. But if you're at work working and making good money at the plant, you're going to spend the money and have it done. Again, this is going to be a 1 to 4 month project somewhere to get that knocked out. Stereo, you might as well do it while you're at it. You're going to spend $2,000 to $5,000, depending on how crazy you go, but you're going to have some tunes in your truck. Lift tires and wheels. This also depends on how crazy you go. This truck can go further, so you're going to have some people drop some comments about, I've seen your other square bodies, we usually go above and beyond. This one we wanted to tap it out at a certain price point. This truck should get crossover steering. It should get our custom track bar bracket that Daniel and Brian make in the off-road shop. And it probably should get rear disc brakes. Those are some things this truck can get done in the future. But to do lift tires and wheels, $6,000 to $10,000 is basically where you're at. You can easily spend another $5,000 doing other upgrades upon the way, but this one's got the braided brake hoses. It's got the springs as big as you can go for a 12-inch kit. It's got the shocks. It could have got a steering stabilizer. It could have got other things. But again, we wanted to tap this one out. The customer already knows. He can call us and say, JW, I bought that black and white truck. Get your brothers to send me a track bar and a crossover kit and a disc brake kit, and he can get it, you know. But his budget was tapped out where he was at to buy the truck for the time being, and it really doesn't have to have them. And then when you're talking about upgrades, you know, you got power steps. You got bed liner if you want to spray it in. Bumpers. Trim. So that's another thing. Your body shop guy, he's going to paint this truck. He's not going to put the trim on it unless you request. He's not going to order all the sheet metal items and the grill and the lenses, new lights, new bumpers, new hardware. He's not going to order all that. Another thing this particular truck has is the alloy diff covers. We just did a video previously about the power steps, so touch back on that. There is not a bolt-on kit. You see us put it on, it looks like it's gravy easy. Please watch the blue Squarebody video. Brian explains it very well, but you've got to relocate the tank. You've got to re-plumb everything for that. You've got to wire everything for that. You got to wire the steps. You got to make custom brackets. You got to have a particular kit to start with, and then you got to hide the gas door. You got to put it, like on that one, we put it in the tail light. You realistically end up spending almost $5,000 on steps. You know, this here is $500 to $1,000. Your bumpers, depending on what you do, like this truck here has custom bumpers. Some people like them, some people don't. This one also, AJ can catch under there. This one's got the track bar and crossover steering upgrade. This one's also a 1-ton truck. The truck beside it's a 1-ton truck. The truck behind it's a 1-ton truck. The only one that's not 1 ton is my old Blazer over there. So here we go. Let's just take it easy. 10 grand, 10 grand, 10 grand. We're at 30 grand, 35 grand, 45 grand, 50 grand, and this could go up to 60 grand, doesn't matter. All right. So where does these prices come from? These trucks are, this one's 35, this one's 35, that one's 30 or 35. This one sold for, you know, roughly around 50,000. Where do the prices come from? Well, part of it's right here, but also part of it is right here. How long do you want to be without a truck? This man made a phone call, and within 10 minutes, he owned his dream truck. Now, it's still got to go to Texas. It's going to take 2 or 3 days just to get there. It's being transported. It should leave today. But he is going to have his dream truck within a few days. Do you want to go this route and have your buddy do it? Sure, that's cool. I have built trucks in my garage. I went through a divorce basically over a square body truck in my past. So I know the get home at 6 o'clock and work in the garage till midnight every single night and every single weekend. And I'm going to bring out the truck. I still have it. It's a 74 Chevy. But it cost me a lot in the long run, more than money. And I can tell you, I've got a stack of folder from 1997 forward that I saved the receipts. I don't even want to go through those receipts because I tell you what, that man was way smarter. That man didn't get a divorce. That man bought a truck he can enjoy. He didn't bust his knuckles. He didn't cut his fingers off. He didn't smash his, face with a hammer. He didn't get frustrated. He didn't lose sleep. There is something to be said for doing that. I love my truck. I put a lot of effort in it. It is a cool truck. But it did take years upon years upon years of building it on my own. I couldn't afford anything different then. So when you get to the level where you're working and you're spending 60, 70, 80 hours a week at work and you just want to enjoy a vehicle, I don't care what it is. We sell sports cars, we sell classics. Every time they sell, the people want it now. They want immediate satisfaction. And that's the cool thing about our trucks. We can carry them to any level. Please go back and look at that blue Squarebody video. That man called yesterday from Florida. He received his truck. And, you get a call after a truck gets somewhere. You're hoping it's good. A lot of times it's not. People are like, oh, I didn't know this or I didn't know that. We try to be very thorough. That's why we do these videos. But he was pleased. He was like, man, I love the truck. He said, I really appreciate the attention to detail that the shop did. Brian and Daniel went over that truck very closely. Why? He didn't rush. He said, look, just call me when it's ready. We had to build the steps. We had to custom do the gas tank. We had to do the, he wanted a hitch on the back. He wanted some custom shocks and, a lot of other things. So we did it all for him. So he basically got the gauntlet of everything with that truck. He got it all. Again, he spent good money, but he was able to get the exact truck that he wanted, built the way he wanted, done the way he wanted with all the upgrades, and he took it home, and he was able to jump in it, hit the key, and go enjoy it. Now, cool part about that truck is, stay tuned, he's going to drop us some stuff as it comes along. but he is going to do a Duramax swap on that truck. He loved it. He likes it. He's going to ride around for a few weeks while he gets his Duramax stuff in order, and then he's going hog wild on the Duramax. So that truck's going to get a full Duramax swap. This one here, who knows what will happen. It's going to be in Texas. Everything's crazy in Texas. We hope he loves it as much as we have. Crazy content that we've created with that truck. We will bring you something cool this afternoon. Haven't even mentioned it to anybody. Nobody even knows it's coming, but another Squarebody that's going to blow you guys' mind. From a very similar situation like this, 12 inches, 40-inch tires, 18 wide wheels. Got a couple more moderate trucks coming, like these here. And right now, all three of these are available. The blue truck is a deal pending, but nothing's in stone until it's finished. If you're not a Squarebody guy, we get a lot of comments. I'm a Ford guy. We've got classic Bronco. Actually got 2 of those. We've got some Jeeps, and we've got every kind of hot rod, classic, and piece of equipment you could imagine also. But thank you guys for tuning in to Squarebody School today. Hope it's been informative. I'm sure there's some things I said that are a little off base, or somebody's going to correct it, drop it in the comment. That's cool. We got thick skin. We can take it. But if you don't have a buddy, that's what it's going to cost you to build a truck, and you cannot put a price tag on having it tomorrow. I can promise you, if I'm going to go do something and I've worked myself for 70 or 80 hours a week the week before, or for 10 weeks straight, or however long it is, and I want to go get a Sherp, or I want to do something else, I don't mind what it costs, you know, as long as it comes the way it's supposed to come. And we're going to do our best to represent things exactly as they are. We're going to tell you the goods, we're going to tell you the bads, and that's how we do it. So Davis Auto Sales, Davis Drives, our main website, davis4x4.com. Check that out. It updates pretty much every couple hours with new inventory, and also anything that you need customized for these Squarebodies that you don't see here, Davis Off-Road can supply. Most of the time you're going to talk to Daniel, and Brian, my other brother, will be doing the install. So can't beat that combination, and we're going to keep on bringing you some great content. So stay tuned.